From the firstregional.com studios, this is a Severe Weather Live update.
All right, everybody. Good evening once again. This is Dave back here with John, Ryan, and Cameron here. We are tracking yet again another tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this one is for our folks down here near the Fordyce area, near Thornton, near Bearden. Again, this is part of this activity that continues to push off, towards the east and the northeast here over the next few hours. As well as we just had a tornado earlier this evening around the Gurdon and Malvern area. Again, we also are now watching a potential developing situation right here. This is just to the south of the Fordyce area. This is going to move east northeast toward our folks over here in Bradley County, in Calhoun County, in Cleveland County. Then, of course, obviously on towards Dallas and Drew County as well. Again, it's a tornado possible storm. This is not a tornado warning yet. However, what this does mean is that this storm can produce a tornado at any point in time. As you can see on our El Dorado camera, you can clearly see it, and this is looking from the south towards the north from our El Dorado Skycam. You can see the base of the storm is very, very low. Again, it is still kind of producing what we call shelf cloud at this time, so that's a good thing. But one thing we're going to watch for are any lowerings in that shelf, because as you get lowerings in that's where you need to watch for that possibility of any sort of rotation in the storm. But once again, for my folks coming up here in Star City, Fordyce, even on downstream here, again, as we head towards Dumas and even towards, parts of Monticello as well over the next few hours. But once again, if you live west of this line, your severe threat is over with. But again, as we continue to push, as this line continues to push east, this is the area we're going to have to watch for that possibility of severe weather, especially in folks like Risen and Star City and Gould as we head towards the 6 o'clock hour. So again, we only have a couple hours left of daylight. So as these storms continue to push into eastern Arkansas, you are going to start to deal with not being able to see these storms at all. As we saw as the storm moved into Alexander area earlier, it got rain wrapped and you couldn't see anything. That's one, and one thing about it, this is a high precip event, very typical with one in the southern U.S., very common in October to get these typical slight risk events that are high precip and very hard to see. But as you can see, we have a very good view of it from our rain-free area down there in El Dorado looking north of this storm.
I'm going to go ahead and switch over to mine here. So, first and foremost, I want to make a couple of points here. Number one, folks, I love you guys to death. We don't cover just Little Rock, okay? We cover the entire state of Arkansas. So our folks down here in southeast Arkansas, Fordyce area, they may not mean much to everybody else, but they mean a lot to us. So we're going to cover everybody across the state here, okay? Number two, for folks in western Arkansas, if you are behind this line of storms here, you are done. Your temperatures are falling. Your temperatures are now in the 60s across western Arkansas. We're going to talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. But our new policy is if there's a severe thunderstorm warning to a pause, we are going to go live here because these storms, it does not necessarily have to have a tornado warning for them to produce a tornado. They have a mind of their own. So if a tornado possible gets issued, we're going to go live and we're going to treat this as if it was a tornado, guys. So the biggest thing I want to stress is for Fordyce, Fordyce, Star City, that's going to be the Rising area, the Woodlawn area, also towards Gold. Make sure that you are treating this like this is a tornado warning at this time, guys, because these storms, if they produce a tornado similar to earlier, they will be very quick. They will drop, and then they will lift just as fast as they drop down. So keep that in mind this afternoon, this evening, guys. I want to make this clear. This is not going to be these monstrous EF3 plus tornadoes that you saw back in the spring. These are going to be these quick, brief, spin up tornadoes that if you're not paying attention is going to catch you off guard. So please make sure if you're watching this live stream, you're under this warning that you're taking this stuff seriously. Don't let it be a tornado warning before you take severe weather seriously, guys. Severe thunderstorm warnings are just as important as well. And one more thing I want to throw out as well is power outages. We're having a pretty big problem with power outages right now here. I think we are at this point at 7,364 from these storms that are coming out from western Arkansas. Southwest Arkansas is lit up like a Christmas tree pretty much. And then we've got these storms up here that are moving away as well. So something that we're going to continue to monitor here. Back to you, Derek.
Hey, John or Ryan, if y'all could, one of our cameras, either Snyder or Hamburg, let's turn it towards the south because we have a developing storm just around the Farmerville area that is quickly showing signs of rotation and is well ahead of the main line as well. So just in case one of them, let's point towards this storm in Fordyce, and one of them, let's point towards the storm coming out of Louisiana. It doesn't matter right now, so that way we're going to have El Dorado, Snyder, and Hamburg watching these storms for now. But right now, El Dorado needs to be the focal camera because that's the one looking at our Fordyce storm. Okay. But right now, El Dorado is the one that's looking north toward the storm. If we can actually turn it a little bit kind of northeast into that storm, looking in from the south. So again, folks, you know, as we mentioned here, again, the only warning in the state is this one right here, folks. This goes for our folks in Fordyce. Again, very strong area of rotation continues to move into the Fordyce area. As a matter of fact, Cameron, let's go on and go to our velocity scan and zoom in on the Fordyce area here. So again, this is moving off here, folks, towards the northeast. This is going to move off towards the east-northeast here. It's going to move towards places like Star City, you know, right down, you know, down here on the edge over here, you know, Star City, Monticello. Again, this is right here's Fordyce, folks. So right here is your area of rotation. Again, this is going to move towards the east-northeast. This is going to move towards places like Woodlawn, towards places like Star City. Folks, this is just, yes, sir. Let's go over to camera now.
Just kind of drawing some attention. I'm going to put you in the full screen, Derek. I'm going to put you for the El Dorado camera because we're seeing some concerning stuff over here. So bear with me for just a second. I'm going to get you kind of switch over if you want to talk a little bit more about what's going on right now here. So I'm going to put you in just 1 second. And there's the El Dorado Sky King. So
yep. All right, let's go to full screen up here. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's just take this and go to full screen. Yep. That way. So once again, folks, as you can see, so this is from El Dorado camera. We are looking off towards the north at this time, northeast again. You can see very well, this is what we call a striation is what we call it. So again, you have rotating areas of this storm, and you can see down here is the base of the storm. Again, this is about 35 miles, you know, to the south of the Fordyce area is where we're looking into the storm. So what we're going to be watching is for any type of lowering to come in through here. Now again, we're 35 miles away, so if you live in the Fordyce area, we would love to get a sponsor for a weather camera there so we can kind of close the gap between Stuttgart and El Dorado at some point in the future. But for now, our El Dorado camera has very, very, very good coverage of this storm. Shout out to our folks in El Dorado for that as well. But once again, folks, so again, you continue to see the base right through here. Again, this is looking off towards the north, so we're looking towards Fordyce at the southern edge of this storm. Again, you can see very strong area of rotation, so this is a very good, tightly wound supercell. So we're going to have to watch for any signs of rotation in it as it continues to push off towards the east and northeast. Camera, let's go back to our velocity scan just to kind of show everybody. It's now moving over the town of Fordyce at this time. So let's go full screen right on this. So right here is Fordyce, okay? Fordyce, Kingsland, New Edinburgh, and of course right here is Rising. Again, right here is Woodlawn, excuse me. So again, if you live in Fordyce, this is where your area of rotation is. Again, it's not tornado warning at this time, but can go warn at any point. Can produce a tornado with little or no warning at all. Once again, Fordyce, Kingsland, Rising, you need to be taking those precautions lowest live over your house. Put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Once again, folks, if you live in Fordyce, area rotation is coming over you right now. Looking at our El Dorado camera, as you can see it in the corner of your screen there. You can see that rotation and the rotation on that storm again. So again, if you live in Fordyce, if you live in Kingsland, you live in Rising, you live in Woodlawn, you need to be taking those tornado precautions. It's not warned yet, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado possible. Lowest live over your house. Put as many walls in between you and the outside. Blankets, pillows, mattresses, helmet. If you don't have a storm shelter center point of your house, if you don't have that, biggest thing is get in a bathtub, put a mattress on you, pillows, blankets, stuff like that. Anything to protect your body from flying debris. Even if we don't get a tornado out of the storm, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds can do as much damage as a tornado. So again, and can do damage over a larger swath. So it's something we definitely have to watch for. But the biggest thing is keeping you and your family safe in the event a tornado does touch down in this area. Again, for the area in Fordyce, it is crossing over right now. So again, the good thing we do see here is a lot of gusting out. That's what we want to continue to see. That means that the front is starting to overtake this area of storm. Now, if this front starts to overtake everything here, then you're going to be dealing with a wind threat only, and we won't even be talking about a tornado threat for the rest of the night. But for now, though, we still have to treat this, especially right here in Fordyce, as a tornadic storm. So once again, a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, has been issued for our folks here in Bradley, Calhoun, over here in Cleveland, over here in Dallas County, over here in Drew County. So again, this is, right down here, Hermitage, Warren. This is north of Hermitage and Warren, just north of Warren, folks. But again, here's Pine Bluff. It's south of Pine Bluff, north of Warren. So once again, if you live in Rising, if you live in Rye, if you live in Fordyce, you need to be in that safe place until this storm passes. West of this, we are, as you can see, there are no warnings in effect. We have a severe thunderstorm warning or a special weather statement down there in southwest Arkansas. But again, we don't have any warnings right now other than this one. That's a very good thing. It's the least amount of warnings we've seen since before the 3 o'clock hour. Again, it is after 5 now, again, here on October the 18th, and we are tracking severe weather. On the current pace, this should be out of here by 9 or 10 o'clock this evening, given its current pace. But that being said, we have to continue to watch this because southeast Arkansas is still favorable for severe weather this evening. Now, obviously, northeast Arkansas, we're going to have to watch as our low-level jet increases for that possibility. But right now, our focus continues to be small-town Arkansas, where the greatest risk of severe weather is at this time with this one storm. Cameron, do you got anything new?
Right now, I don't really have anything new. We do have an extension of that tornado watch, which that's fixing to be expanded coming up here in just a little bit here. That does include the rest of southeastern Arkansas. I have not heard anything so far. Lori is sending us some reports. Looks like there was some golf ball size hail from, I do believe that is going to be south of Fordyce earlier on here. So I'm gonna get that coming up here in just a little bit. Lori, if I got permission to share that on live, I can. But right now we're just pretty much just monitoring now, not really seeing much in terms of any other reports or anything like that here at this current time here. But something that, like we mentioned before, just because it's a severe thunderstorm warning, folks, doesn't mean that you have to ignore it. You still got to treat this as it was producing a tornado. It's just kind of similar to the situation earlier where these things can spin up a tornado really, really quick. So folks that are living in the Rising area, that's going to be Highway 35, Highway 63 over here. They do need to be getting into their safe spots. Let this storm pass over, and then you should be good to go here. But like I mentioned before, everybody that is in western Arkansas, northwest Arkansas, you are done. And pay attention to the overall graphic. By the way, here we've got the severe thunderstorm watch is up on the top right corner of your screen. Anywhere in the red, that's Searcy, Little Rock, Stuttgart, all the way down is the tornado watch. The yellow is the severe thunderstorm watch. But everybody to the west, you're done. Mena, DeQueen, Russellville, Fort Smith, Harrison, Fayetteville, you guys are done. Y'all are done with the severe weather threat for today. Everybody to the east and to the southeast, this is still going to continue to be a problem throughout the rest of the evening and into tonight here. So, Lori, I will get that up coming up here in just a little bit. Derek, I'm going to turn it back over to you for just a second.
Once again, so let's go back to our reflect view here, because I do want to show our folks in Fordyce this as well. See this purple, white, and black area here? This is what we call a well-defined hail core. And one thing I'm noticing with this storm is the hail threat is going up in this storm. So what that typically means is our tornado threat for the near term is going down a little bit. So typically what happens is when we see a hail spike, we tend to lose that little bit of rotation at the surface. But what that tells me, though, is that our rotation aloft is quickly increasing, which means our low-level jet is starting to kick in, which also means, yes, that possibility of tornadic activity does go up over the next couple hours. Again, like we said, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is that golden hour, if you will, when it comes to severe weather and tornadic activity. So that's what we're going to be watching, as well as any of these cells coming out of the northern Louisiana area that track ahead of this line. Those are the ones we're going to have to watch for that possibility of tornadic storms. Again, we have a camera in Snyder, Arkansas. We have a camera in Hamburg, Arkansas. We have a camera in El Dorado, Arkansas, Stuttgart, and Helena that are able to watch our southeast Arkansas storm. So we have plenty of eyes in the sky, if you will, being able to watch those storms, as well as our team watching each and every camera, as well as the storms move into northeast Arkansas. We have wind and we have bay. Shout out to Firetex and the wind fire department there, and then of course the emergency mitigation as well for helping provide those cameras in East Arkansas. So once again, folks, we do continue to watch this storm down here in the Fordyce area. Would not be shocked to see somebody getting 2 to 3 inch hail around the Thornton area. This is going to track very near to the Fordyce area and points east. Again, not much else going on. We do have a lot of rain. This is a very good thing to see for our drought-stricken areas in northeast Arkansas. Would not be shocked to see places get up a half an inch to an inch of rain here as well. For my folks in the Little Rock metro area, your severe threat has gone down drastically now. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Again, my folks in Lonoke County points east, our threat still exists. Little Rock points west, our threat is now over with. I want to reiterate that you can rest easy if you live in the Little Rock metro area. You can start to relax a little bit now. Conway, Little Rock, Benton, Bryant, all those areas, you can now relax a little bit. But again, for our folks points south and east, we still have to watch, and we're going to watch all night long if we have to make sure small town Arkansas is covered as well. And this is obviously a continuation of our ongoing severe weather coverage all afternoon and into the nighttime hours. But again, our strongest storm continues to be this one right here, just coming over and to the east of Fordyce at this time. Cameron, do you got anything new?
Yeah, so John, you can come on over here. We're keeping an eye on that storm. It's just south of Fordyce. There's an area of rotation that just got going. It is north of 278. I was actually getting ready to share a video that we got in of a hailstorm that came through earlier. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Most of this storm is producing ping pong size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds right now here. But I'm gonna keep an eye on that southern end for that potential of rotation. Matter of fact, Derek, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in, and I'm gonna stop it right here, and we're gonna go back over to the velocity view coming up here in just a second. And that's the area. It's right there. I want to say right there, just to the west of Highway 274. So that's something that we're gonna have to continue to monitor. As we continue. Go ahead.
So yeah, you got two different areas here. One just the south of Fordyce, and then obviously you do have another one up here. But this is the strongest area. As a matter of fact, Ryan, let's turn our El Dorado cam a little bit towards northeast a little bit. I'm seeing a very well-defined area of rotation on the northern edge of Union County, which Hampton is right here, so the northern edge of Union County will be down here. So this is looking into the very southern edge of that storm. So once again, we don't have a warning at this time in terms of tornado. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, but winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. So once again, with this storm moving off towards the east-northeast, it is going to move towards places like Edinburgh. It's going to move towards places like Rye. Again, up here is Kingsland. Right here is Fordyce. And then, of course, on up here is Van, Arkansas, is Ivan, Arkansas. So once again, folks, as you can see, this is moving off from west to east. It's moving off from west to east right here. You have a very strong area of rotation near Kingsland. And then, of course, you have this other one right here near New Edinburgh. Again, this is all pushing off towards the east, northeast. And again, our El Dorado camera has a very good view of a very well-defined lowering as well on the storm. Again, it is shelving out. That's what we like to see. We want to see a storm shelving out because what that does is that allows the storm to actually gust out instead of have a chance to rotate and drop a tornado. That being said, we are also about 25 miles away, 30 miles away from this storm. So then again, you know, we're not going to get the full view as if we were right under the storm when it comes in. But once again, New Edinburgh, Kingsland, on up towards Woodlawn, you need to be in your tornado shelter right now. Lowest level of your house. Put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Again, this is a very dangerous situation. Just because we do not have a tornado on the ground does not mean one cannot form at any point in time, and does not mean that you won't get damaged even with 60-mile-per-hour winds as well. So once again, you know, looking over our cameras in Hamburg and Snyder, El Dorado, again, this does continue to be the strongest area right now. As you can see, as it came through our Fordyce area, we did see what we call a classic spin up, and now what you're seeing is it's kind of what it's doing is rotating back into the storm. So what we're gonna have to do now is watch a bookend vortice develop, and that could actually produce a brief tornado as well, as we saw earlier around the Malvern area and points west earlier this afternoon. Cameron?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share, and fair warning for those that have any kind of headphones on, I'm fixing to share a hail video here. I'm gonna see if I can catch this in time here. So there it is right here. So let me get this moved over here. So I apologize for I apologize for it being kind of how it is here, but this is kind of how the hailstorm that went through earlier. This was the Bearden area. Kind of shout out to Janie Turner, excuse me, for sharing this in. But this is the hailstorm earlier on here. So I'm gonna turn the volume off so it doesn't blow y'all's headphones out. But this was the hail earlier on earlier on in the hour here as it passed through. So these storms are now producing hail over here in eastern Arkansas at this current time here. So right now, not have any other news other than that. Just wanted to kind of share you that video. If you guys have any photos, videos, feel free to send them in. We'll get that taken care of here. And I apologize for the volume warning here, guys, but this is something that we're still continuing to monitor at this current point. Right now, I mean, no confirmed tornadoes or anything like that, but we're still going to kind of keep an eye on the situation in the Fordyce here. Back to you, Derek.
Let's pull up our El Dorado camera again. All right. So yes, sir. That's going to do it at full screen. And Ryan, if you will, continue to kind of follow the leading edge of the storm just for a little bit, because what I want to do for our folks in southeast Arkansas is kind of give a rotational view, if you will, of El Dorado, Hamburg, and Snyder. That way we kind of have a really good idea about what is going on. Again, as you can see, well-defined shelf cloud coming into the northern ends of El Dorado. But as you can see right here, this is the, Yep, so this is the area. So again, this is just over Northwest Avenue here in El Dorado. As you can zoom out, wow, look at the structure of this storm. I'm going to step away off camera here just for a minute, folks, and you can just see the structure of this storm. Folks, you cannot get structure better than this when it comes to severe weather. I mean, again, this is what you want to see because it's not tornadic. It is a shelf cloud that could produce damaging winds. So this is a very good thing of what you want to see. That means our colder air is starting to move in and is helping to decrease our tornado threat. But again, we always watch for little lowerings like this one here. Again, this is looking off towards the north. So again, we got to watch any lowerings on the leading edge of this shelf for any potential rotation. And once again, that's looking north from downtown El Dorado up into our storm coming out of or moving through a parts of Fordyce and Rison at this time. So let's go to the Snyder camera. Okay, never mind. We'll stay on this one for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, no problem at all. But once again, as you can see, this is why we harp on this project so much, because this gives us a view of a storm that we don't normally are not able to see. Because when we look at radar, we can only see so much. But once you look at this storm as a whole, you get to see the full structure of the storm from 200 to 300 feet up. And so once again, you can see beautiful shelf cloud, and you can see kind of the lowering angle on it here. Again, we are watching this area right here. Again, we do have to watch for that possibility of rotation on this on the very leading edge. It is producing a wall cloud as well. So again, you have your shelf right here, and then you have your wall cloud right here. So let's stay on this storm a little bit, because I am a little bit concerned about it while we adjust our Snyder cameras and Hamburg camera as well. Because yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. I got you. Go ahead, Ryan. What you got? What you seeing? Yeah. So we're talking about that shelf cloud in the El Dorado area. We're going to keep an eye on that, because it looks like there's some rotation starting to get going just under it as well here. So one crazy view right now from downtown. First of all, shout out to the city of El Dorado for getting this Skycam for this particular reason. But just take a look at this. Folks, this is I already got it, but this is incredible. This is an incredible shelf cloud coming into downtown El Dorado right now. So folks, keep an eye on this situation here. This is mainly going to produce damaging winds, and we're going to keep an eye on for that tornado right here. But man, that's crazy. What's up? You should be able. I know your your First Financial logo is going to be right there. So I'm going to switch it back over to you. Go ahead.
All right, so let's see if we can kind of follow this a little bit, or else zoom it back out and get kind of a full view again. So that way we can kind of give people a broader.
One Snyder, or you want El Dorado right now?
Let's stay with El Dorado a few more minutes here, just to get, since we don't have an actual tornado warning on the board, we can actually monitor these via our Skycam, because they are all within range now. So again, you're not going to be able to see the wall cloud thanks to the First Financial logo here. But what you can see is a well-defined shelf cloud, and this is actually the leading edge of our line of storms coming in. So once again, when you see this tells you that your tornado threat is decreasing significantly, except for that leading edge right here. So if we can, can we zoom it out? Kind of get that broader view. Is it? Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So this is as wide as it gets when it comes into El Dorado. Again, it's a well-defined shelf, kind of falling apart a little bit. Cameron, if you will, let's go on and give me our Snyder view now, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what we're watching. Well, this is a storm that is coming out of Louisiana right now. Again, this camera has been online, 24 hours? And we're already talking about severe weather. So again, right now there's not much in the way of anything going on in Ashley County, but we are continuing to watch that as well. So this storm coming out of the areas around Farmerville and Ruston, we're going to watch, because this will move towards Crossett, towards Hamburg, over the next hour or so. So that's what we're going to have to watch there as well. Of course, Hamburg as well doesn't have much going on. Let's go back to our radar view right now, just to give everybody an idea. Just to give you an idea, we are watching you in Ashley County. We have 2 cameras in Ashley County that can keep our folks safe, especially in Crossett, while we try to get that third one online as well. But once again, as I mentioned, we do have a couple of severe storms down here that are going to move into the Crossett area over the next hour or so. Those will move across our Hamburg and Snyder cameras, so we'll be able to watch you there, especially if anything goes tornadic there. Of course, obviously, we have our severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible, the only warning in the state at this time for our folks in Rising and Fordyce and Kingsland. And then, of course, we have a plethora of, just general special weather statements. And then, of course, obviously, we do have our strong line of storms from the metro and points south down towards the El Dorado area at this time. Overall, though, we are seeing the severe storm, the severe weather we actually expected. Not a high-end event, but an event enough to say, hey, fall severe season has arrived in Arkansas. And that's something that we wanted to, say, hey, severe weather's here for our second season. And unfortunately, we are already watching another event coming after this one, but we will have more on that once we get past this event this evening. So once again, just to kind of go over everything, our folks in North Arkansas, you are mainly having a rain event with embedded areas of thunder. We continue to watch for any storm that tries to rotate, but right now we're just not seeing it, and that's a very good thing. Again, for our folks in the metro, this line is moving through now. Severe threat will be dropping dramatically. Beneficial rainfall is the biggest thing out of this time, especially for our folks in Northeast Arkansas, where we've been dealing with a significant drought for much of the summer and much of the early fall. We are getting much needed rainfall in Northeast Arkansas. Would not be shocked to see a few areas catch an inch or two of rain throughout much of the evening this evening. But again, as we go further south, Little Rock, we are getting in the clear. Pine Bluff, you are now getting into the strong storms as well as on down towards Monticello and El Dorado as well. But for the most part, though, we have more of a, Cameron, if you will, a special weather statement type of event going on right now. Winds are not quite to that severe threshold, but almost there, but not quite. Once again, obviously, as you go down towards the Fordyce area, we do have that severe thunderstorm tornado posse here for about another 15 or 20 minutes. And then, of course, we have those storms down here coming out of Louisiana. What I'm liking to see is our front is really starting to dart east a little bit. And let's look at those temperatures if we can, just to give everybody an idea. What? Yeah. So just to give everybody a little bit of an idea on what we're looking at, with this front coming in. Again, this is what we call a Pacific front. It's not a true Canadian front. So while your temperatures will drop, they're not going to drop into the 20s and the 30s. You have to worry about a freeze or a frost just yet. Now, as we go into after next week, closer to Halloween, we may have a different story on our hands. But obviously for right now, though. So again, right now, as you can see, okay. But as you can see right now, the watches and warnings are being trimmed from west to east. That's a very good thing as well. Again, obviously, this is what we want to see. It is a balmy 90 in Helena right now. 84 in Monticello, 85 across it, 84 in El Dorado where these storms are coming through. But you can see our rain-cooled air across much of west and northwest Arkansas. It's 63 up here in Rogers, 66 in Fayetteville, 70 in Fort Smith, 68 in Russellville, 64 Harrison, 71 in Mountain Home, 70 in Clinton, of course 65 in Mena. Yep, 66 in DeQueen. But as you can see, your colder air is quickly pushing through, this area. And of course, Osceola, that's a false reading. That's not really 68 there because they are still 80s and sunshine there. But as you can see, the reason why our severe threat does still exist for our folks in eastern Arkansas is because there's 82 in Walnut Ridge, 82 in Jonesboro, 85 in Wynne, 81 in Searcy. Of course, we are getting rain now. We were up to 87 in Little Rock. We are down to 77 now. And then, of course, Texarkana and Hope sit at 85. But as you can see, that cooler air is filtering into the state. So wherever your air is cooler, your severe threat has come to an end this evening. So that's something we really want to see, and it's something that we really like to see, especially, as we are talking about that fall air coming in. Cameron? Okay. No problem at all. Yep.
Here. So not much going on right now here. I'm gonna go back over to the current radar that we had up here. So a lot of heavy rainfall across the area here. Outside of that severe thunderstorm warning toward POS, that's going to be wiped off the board coming up here in just a little bit. Not really much going on right now across the area here. So I think once we let that drop off, Derek, I think we are going to kind of break away. Switch back over to that 24/7 weather channel. That way, let me take this off the screen real quick. So that way we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on across the area here. So right now, for folks that are watching this, that is going to be in Western Arkansas. You know, we've had a lot of people come in and asking about the Little Rock area, what's going on in Central Arkansas. It sounds loud, chaotic, stuff like that. Everybody that is in Western, Northwest Arkansas, this ball game is done for you. You're done. Across Eastern Arkansas, we are going to continue to keep an eye on the situation over here. The tornado watch did get expanded out towards the south and east. I think as of right now, my folks over there in northeastern Arkansas, that's going to be from Brinkley, Wynn, Jonesboro, the Blytheville area. We're going to see. I see that rain shield coming in, Derek, and hopefully we can get that in, and that might actually cut your severe threat up there and kind of keep everything contained down in the southeastern Arkansas, so we'll keep an eye on that. My folks in southeast Arkansas, we're still going to monitor this, but I honestly, you know, we had this in and out of the state by 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I think we're going to be done by maybe even a little earlier than that. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see how fast this line of storms is. It is booking to the east here. So once this activity clears through, you are done for the rest of the evening into the night. And then, like Derek mentioned before, we are going to kind of keep an eye on that Halloween time frame. We do have unfortunately, more severe weather to talk about. We'll talk more about that coming up in your week ahead here, guys. But for right now, we're just going to keep an eye on there. And also, John, can I borrow you for just a second? You had showed me a report from the DeGray area earlier on. Let me see here. So it was, let me read that off to you. So a tree damage was reported along Sycamore Road, and that is around the Lucky Pine area. That was 3 miles east-northeast of DeGray, and that is going to be in Hot Spring County from the fire department. So we are getting more information about what happened earlier, Derek, with the tornado that dropped down. We are starting to get some tree damage and stuff like that. I've actually got some reports from our team members about that as well here. So that's the latest right now here, guys. Like I said before, we're going to continue to kind of keep an eye on the situation. I'm going to send it right back to you, Derek.
Alrighty. So once again, they have issued a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Bradley, Calhoun, and Cleveland counties. This is a non-tornado possible warning. This is going for the northern parts of this area as well. So that does include our folks in Fordyce and Kingsland and Rising as well. I also want to bring up as well, I'm kind of watching the area between Humnoke and England as well. We do have a bookend vortice beginning to form over parts of southern Lono County as well. So it's just something, you know, I want to watch here over the next few minutes. So if y'all can be my eyes and ears on that one, just to keep an eye on that. But once again, folks, you know, let's just kind of go over everything once again. You know, first of all, I tell you what, that shelf cloud, and we're going to go back and get a time lapse of that moving through El Dorado. That was beautiful as it came through, and it plowed through El Dorado. So my folks in Eldo, y'all can read the sigh of relief now. Your severe threat is going down fast. Yes, it's going to be windy, but we're staying below severe limits there. But for my folks in Fordyce, and then of course obviously on up here towards you know, Harold, Fordyce, Warren, eastward towards Monticello, Pine Bluff, places like that. We are continuing to watch for that possibility. There is still a tornado possible warning for the southern parts of Cleveland County, and then of course northern parts of Bradley County as well. Again, that's just continuing to push off towards the east, and this will be moving towards Highway 165 now over the next 45 to 50 minutes or so. This line is really getting a push at this time. So it's something we're definitely going to have to watch. But my eyes are on our folks now in Lono County, especially between Lono, Carlisle, Stuttgart, and England as well. As a matter of fact, Ryan, can you go ahead and be a little bit preemptive here? Let's go on and get that Stuttgart camera kind of on a view here, because let's go on and switch over to it. And this one is going to be shout out to the University of Arkansas. Phillips County that has helped us with this camera in the Stuttgart area. Again, it's moving through right now. Again, nothing severe, it's just special weather statement at this time. But we are continuing to see, as you can see right here, see how it's kind of wrapping around itself right here, just to the north of Redfield. Folks, this is just outside of our window here at the studio, where we can see it. And as you can see, it is wrapping in right now. Again, we're not seeing anything significant, but my folks in Redfield, my folks in Stuttgart, right here, folks, is where, I'm getting very concerned about, especially Coy, England, Tucker, right through here on the leading edge, Humnoke, Humphrey. This area right here we're going to have to watch over the next few minutes, especially if this can continue it's kind of like a tropical storm. It has to finish its circulation around, and once it connects to the other side, that's when we get to deal with that possibility.
Okay, so pretty much what I'm doing right now here is I'm gonna put a track on this. Derek, I will say this too. Keep an eye on that. We're also keeping an eye on that storm here. But the biggest thing is not only the tornado threat, but straight line wind damage. And another thing, I know a lot of people probably are not talking about this as well. Power outages are starting to pile up. I teetered between making a power outage map for this particular event, and I didn't really go for it because I didn't think it was going to be that big of an issue. But now I'm looking back and kind of seeing what's going on. I probably should have made a power outage map for this event. But pretty much right now here, we're going to keep an eye on here. So what's going on here is, like Derek mentioned before, you've got what we call a bookend vortice that's right there. I would say pretty much just to the east of England. Just to the west of the Stuttgart area. So if one of my guys, if y'all can get a west view on that Stuttgart camera, that'd be awesome. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that in just case anything develops out of that. But what's going on here is, like so far, it's got like a little vortice pretty much just west of Stuttgart, and you have what's called like I guess you could say like a gust front that has developed outside of that. So that's going to be moving to the east. So your damaging wind threat is going to be there. And then also your embedded tornado threat. And this is what SBC was talking about. These weren't going to be these monstrous big EF3 plus tornadoes that we were going to see today. These were going to be these brief spin up tornadoes that, hey, once a warning goes out, your time to react is pretty limited, right? So something that we're going to keep an eye on here. Also, Derek, I'm going to keep an eye on that storm just to the west of Rye. Or southwest of not Stuttgart, Star City. So we're going to keep an eye on that here. I believe that is going to be, if my road network is okay, Highway 63. So that's going to be Highway 63 over here. So I have to keep an eye on that circulation as well. But for right now, mainly a wind potential with this. And another thing too, Derek, is your severe threat is now being limited to the southeastern corner of the state. My folks in northeastern Arkansas, the tornado prone northeast Arkansas, I think you guys, and I'm gonna knock on wood on here, I think you guys are gonna get away with this for right now, okay? Because I think what's going on is you've got a big rain shield coming in, and what's going to happen is it's going to wipe your environment up there in northeast Arkansas. So it's going to be just a bunch of heavy rain, some thunderstorms up there. But for southeast Arkansas, where your instability is greater, that's where you're going to have to watch for that tornado potential here as we move in the next couple of hours. I think we put the books to this probably about 8, 9 o'clock this evening. We'll see what happens. It depends on if this thing slows down or anything like that here. So I'm gonna hand it back to you.
Ryan, can you do me a favor? Can you turn that camera probably just a little northwest? I know we have the U of A there. I'm getting more and more concerned each second with this Humnoke storm. I'm not taking away from our folks in Fordyce and Monticello at all. But when we see these kind of bookend vortices here, we do tend to watch for that possibility of any sort of rotation. And this is within 20 miles of our camera, so we'll be able to see if anything does begin to develop there. And then we're obviously on downstream towards Helena, over the next 3 hours. So again, as long as we remain in daylight, which we have about an hour left of that, we will be able to kind of spot these a little bit here. But once again, I do want to stress again, the most severe part of this line, like Cameron said, is south of I-40 now. So I want to stress that south of I-40, all the way down there to the state line, is where our severe threat is at this time. Again, your tornado threat is low, but it's not zero. We said coming in this was not going to be an outbreak. We said coming in this was not going to be anything like March and April. We said coming in you need to be on your heels just in case. But we said coming in this was not going to be an outbreak. Not once did we state outbreak. Not once did we state major event. We've always said brief spin up throughout this entire event. That is one thing about us here. You will not get the hype, but what you will get is accurate and timely information when it comes to severe weather and, of course, winter weather as well. But once again, as I mentioned, The main line of storms continues from Hazen, Stuttgart, down towards the Pine Bluff area, on down towards Star City, and then, of course, on down toward Hampton and El Dorado as well. Again, this is moving off towards the east here, about 35 to 40 miles an hour. My concern, as I said again, I know NWS is watching it as well. For the Hunlock area, we want to see a couple more scans come through before warnings get issued. Like I said, we are not responsible for the warnings. That is strictly up to the National Weather Service in Little Rock or Memphis, because we are starting to get close to that jurisdiction edge where things transition from the NWS in Little Rock to the NWS in Memphis over the next couple of hours. But for the most part, though, we have a nice line of storms and lots of rain coming in. This won't be a drought-busting rain, but it's going to be a nice, solid area of rainfall moving through much of northeast and parts of southeast Arkansas throughout this evening. A drought-stricken area as well. But one thing we love to see is this rain shield moving ahead of this line. What that means is you're starting to gust out. You're starting to get that cooler air coming down to the surface, which in turn is helping to decrease our tornado threat as well. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much right now here, guys. So we're gonna keep an eye on these storms down here in southeastern Arkansas. I want to point up to northeast Arkansas for just a hair, because we'll get a lot of questions, especially it's reasonable, because they've had a lot of severe weather. This past spring, the hyperactive spring that we had. People are wondering, what's going on up here in northeast Arkansas. No one's talking about them, stuff like that. Folks, if we don't, especially when it comes to severe weather, if we don't bring your city name up, it's normally a good thing. We don't, when we have tornado warnings and stuff like that, if we don't bring your city up, most times you're not in any kind of danger, right? So up here in northeastern Arkansas, there's a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning up here. None of these storms up here are tornadic, okay? If you got somebody up here saying that it's tornadic, they're lying to you, okay? It's not tornadic up here right now. We're monitoring the situation. You can see behind me, I've got John. I've got our chief engineer, Ryan, over here. We've got a team over here that's watching the radar, watching for any kind of new scans, everything like that. But fortunately, it looks like northeast Arkansas is starting to check out of the severe threat. Mainly, it's going to be a heavy rainfall threat up here. And this is really good news, like Derek mentioned before. This is a drought-stricken area up here in northeastern Arkansas. So we're going to keep an eye on this activity up here, obviously. But, folks, I understand the storm anxiety. I get it. I know folks are on edge up here in northeastern Arkansas from all the tornadoes they've had up here. I want to say for myself and the entire team, nothing tornadic is going on up here in northeastern Arkansas right now. This is just a lot of heavy rainfall up here right now. And this activity will likely scrub any kind of instability you have up here. And then that's going to be it here, guys, okay? Further to the south here, by the way, like I mentioned before, we've got these severe storms down here in southeastern Arkansas. We're keeping an eye on here, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. None of this activity is tornadic right now. Like I said before, we're all watching this behind the scenes, just kind of keeping an eye on everything here. One thing I do want to share with you guys real fast here, if I can pull it up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it up or not, is the temperature map. So give me just 1 second here. I got to borrow from Derek's side of things here. So let me go back over to here, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn the radar off, and I'm going to show you guys the current temperatures across the state right now. As you can see, the cooler air kind of moving in here, so give me just 1 second. There we go. Just pulled it up on the screen. So there's your current temperatures across the state right now here. Temperatures across the area, 60s across western Arkansas, northwest Arkansas. So you guys up there, you're done. You're done. Your severe threat is over for this afternoon and this evening. You're still in the 80s down there in southwest Arkansas. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Down there near the Texarkana and the Hope area. But as you can see, down there in southeast Arkansas, the Helena area, Monticello, Greenville, over towards Crossett, that's the area of the concern for the potential of seeing some severe weather as we move in the next couple of hours. But at least for right now, I'm not really expecting this big old, like we mentioned before in the live stream earlier, not expecting a big tornado outbreak, not expecting this to be a significant severe weather event, but we were going to tell you guys that, hey, we will have to watch out for the potential of seeing some severe weather this afternoon, this evening. That has transpired. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Derek, do you want, am I good to hand it back over to you?
Yeah, that's
Okay, go ahead.
If you will, let's pull up the Stuttgart camera on full zoom, on full.
Yep. You want the full screen?
Yeah, let's pull it up on full screen real quick. Because one thing I am noticing is we do have a lot of notches in the line right now again. And one thing that I am concerned, and they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, looks like, for that entire thing. So they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, looks like, for the entire region. So for 1 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. But what we're going to do is we are going to pull this up here for just a second, because I do want to point something out. Is here you do have, remember, the same striations we were talking about in South Arkansas earlier for our folks now coming into the Stuttgart area. One thing about it is we have to watch this lowering right here. This is a lowering I've watched here for a little bit. It has come down, it's come back up, it's come down, it's come back up. So it's something that we're going to have to watch right here. But once again, I want to point out here, so here's the power station. This is downtown Stuttgart right here, folks. I want to stress this. This is downtown Stuttgart, all right here. Here's the water tower in Stuttgart right here. Right here is the college right here. U of A, shout out to them, for giving us and putting this camera on their tower as well. And then, of course, obviously, you do have your lowering here just to the west of town here. Again, nothing tornadic at this time, but it's something you are under a severe thunderstorm warning for up to 70 mile per hour winds. So it's something that we're going to have to watch. But again, continue to watch this, Cameron. I know you see it as well on your end as well. We are continuing to watch this lowering right here. Ryan, if we can kind of angle this a little bit, I know the building's in the way there. Okay. Yep. Okay. So, but once again, as you can see, right through here is where our lowering is. And again, as you can see, this is well-defined shelf cloud as well. Again, so for our city leaders and stuff, county leaders listening to this, you want to know what these cameras are used for, what they can do? This is it right here, folks. You can see exactly what these cameras do, from start to finish. I mean, we've used the Asylum camera today. We've used El Dorado. We've used Alexander. We've used Hamburg. I mean, as you can see, right now. Oh, you're good. But as you can see, folks, I mean, this is what these cameras are used for. They help us to view severe weather live without, radar only shows us so much. When you get a view like this, you get to see the whole entire storm. And like Cameron said, we continue to watch right through here for this possibility. Yes, I can. Yep. So as Cameron pointed out, this is the area we are watching for a lowering, and continued, obviously, areas all the way through here. Again, nothing is significant at this time. However, it is something to watch. Regardless, you are going to get what we call, in chaser terms, a shelfie, because you have a very well-defined shelf cloud that is beginning to gust out. However, with those gust outs, and Cameron circled again right here, here's downtown Stuttgart. Here is where this area of rotation, it's weak and broad, but it's there. I want to stress that these storms can produce a tornado with little or no warning. My folks in Stuttgart, I would think about going on and taking precaution. I know 60 to 70 mile per hour winds are the main threat with this storm, and we're starting to lose it in the rain. We're starting to lose it in daylight as well. But once again, for my folks in Stuttgart, you can see it clear as day right through here. Again, there's not a tornado warning at this time. However, that being said, 60 mile per hour winds can still do as much damage as a tornado. I would definitely advise as well taking those precautions as well. Again, shout out to our folks at the U of A in Stuttgart for giving us and letting us put a camera on the tower. And then, of course, shout out to HazCam as well, for their remarkable work in this project as well overall. But once again, we do continue to watch this. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for Lone Oak, Prairie, Monroe, Arkansas County, Jefferson County, Cleveland, Calhoun, Bradley, Drew, Lincoln. I mean, we have a lot of warnings around the state, all severe warnings at this time, and I'm going to switch it back over to Cam.
Yeah, so the reason I put it on the Snyder Cam here is because John just informed me that we've got some storms coming out from Louisiana. Yeah. So we're going to watch these storms coming out from there. I have to keep an eye on it here. So one of my guys, if y'all can, I think one of y'all's working on getting that turned. Is this, what view is this looking towards?
Snyder right now is looking towards the north. Is looking towards the due west. So
Due
let's
west.
turn the Snyder camera towards the southwest.
The southwest. We
Hamburg,
can.
let's keep due west.
So you could do presets up there. Right. Yeah, presets,
So,
and it takes you. Yeah,
again,
there, it takes you straight there.
This is our shout out to
So, there you go.
shout out to several different companies in Ashland County. Bowling Industry, Missed Out Environment, Urban Grid, Swift
Rice-
as well.
Rice Roofing.
And Rice Roofing as well. You know, for helping these cameras go up in Ashland County as well. So once again, as you can see, again, very well-defined area of storms here coming up into Ashland County. Again, these storms are going to move towards Lake Village and Eudora, Providence, places like that over the next 30 to 45 minutes. But to our west, we still have that entire line of storms. Well, again, not as well, not as scenic as it was in Stuttgart and
El Dorado is the best view so far. That was
but
crazy.
As you can see, we still have a well-defined area of storm. Of course, our temperature 82. Our dew point is 68, so we have plenty of fuel to work with there. One thing I want to mention about this, folks, is our winds are out of the southwest. This has been the best case scenario for much of the day. Is a lot of our surface winds have been out of the southwest. So what happens is they are parallel with the line of storms. They're parallel with the storms moving northeast. So what happens is you lose that rotation effect at the surface. So instead of them being able to start up here and spin all the way down, well, they only spin in the mid and upper levels, and therefore you don't get the top to bottom rotation. Therefore, you lose that chance of seeing a tornado in places further along the ground. So that's a very good thing to see. But again, like we said, it's more than warm enough. We're going from the 80s to the 60s for many of us for tomorrow, 70s for some, and then of course on Monday morning, temperatures in the 40s with a few 30s up in the northern part of the state as well. So again, once we get past this event, we got a few days to kick back and relax before we do it all over again just before Halloween. Of course, Cameron, we'll have more on that coming up this upcoming week. But once again, folks, we continue to watch for our folks here in Southeast Arkansas. Again, Severe Weather coverage does continue on a special edition of Natural State Live. So once again, normally this would be our show on Roku and Fire TV. But since we're not dealing with tornado warnings right now, do want to reiterate that Cameron and I will be starting a show coming up on our streaming platform called Natural State Live, where we'll talk about weather, we'll talk about sports, anything and everything community and Arkansas related. Hopefully we're talking about a Hogs victory soon and not talking about a bunch of defeat, but we'll talk about that later. There's still a lot of foul feelings there. No offense given there. Also, we do have a lot of deer hunters out and about as well. If you know anybody in this part of the state out hunting, give them a call. Have them go on and come on in, because these storms are producing very heavy rainfall as well. So our rivers are going to be rising relatively quickly as we go throughout the next couple of hours. But as you can see now, folks, we have a very large area of rainfall and embedded storms, nothing tornadic at this time. That's a very good thing. What we love to see. It is definitely a beautiful thing to see this rain shield. It is rainfall we have desperately needed in Arkansas for quite some time. One, it's going to get a lot of that smoke out of the atmosphere. It's going to get a lot of our ground moisture up again as we head into the winter months. And two, it's just overall needed across the state. And as you can see, the rest of this area right now, basically, from Searcy to Pine Bluff down to El Dorado, points west, you are now in the clear. We have the eastern 2 rows of counties left, and we're done with this event. I think, like Cameron said, we'll be done with this event by 7, 8 o'clock this evening, and this will be a forgotten memory. And so far, the biggest story, we've only had one tornado so far, knock on wood, and that still remains to be the case. Cameron's going to put a track on this line of storms. As you can see, it's going to move into places like Crossit here at 5:58, Hamburg at 5:59, Brinkley at 6:02, Cotton Plant at 6:05 on down towards Arkansas City at 6:08, Lake Village at 6:15, Palestine and Marianna down to 620. Helena is 627. And then, of course, on over towards our folks in Wynn and Hughes as we head towards the 6:30 hour. So we have roughly about an hour to 2 hours left on this line of storms. Again, the most severe part of this line of storms does continue to be the area just to the east of the metro. And then, of course, isolated storms again here between parts of Dumas and then points south. Cameron, do you got anything else?
No, sir. I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it on my side here, Derek. So I'll switch it back over here. So just like I said, just kind of a small recap of what's going on across the area here. I told you guys about the temperatures earlier on. So we're gonna go back over to the radar view real quickly here. And like I mentioned before, this is the activity that we've got. Everybody to the west of this, you're done. Your severe threat's over. You can go by up your Saturday, watch the football game. Keep me updated on the scores. I haven't even watched. I don't even know if it's playing right now or not. But anybody that's in West Arkansas, this is coming to an end. If you are in Little Rock and you're panicking about severe weather, I promise you nothing's gonna happen. Okay, you're good to go. You're done. This is gonna be over with within the next next 2 hours. This is gonna be over with. And then this will push off towards the east, and then we're gonna be done. It's gonna be a chilly start to your Sunday morning. We're gonna we're gonna actually break out, guys, some winter weather graphics coming up here in just a little bit. We have a wind chill map that we're gonna post later on this evening. Could have wind chills in the 30s in northwestern Arkansas with this cooler air moving in. So that's something that if you're a cold air fan, you get to look forward to. Chilly start to your Monday morning as well. Temperatures in the upper 30s and 40s, warming up into the 60s to 70s here, and then we'll talk about what to expect coming up for your Halloween time frame, guys. But other than that, I think that is pretty much it for right now. From myself, from Ryan, from Derek, and John here at the Weather Center. This has been a severe weather update. Obviously, if another tornado warning gets issued, we will be here, and we will keep you guys ahead of the storm right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.